All right, world, how you doing? It's the Edi Johnston Bit, back once again with the Renegade Master. No, not that. Back once again with the Spin the Wheel podcast. Here it is. Here's my wheel right over there. I've got my questions all lined up and ready for a bit of a spin to take a random interview somewhere in whichever direction the wheel decides. That's kind of the way it works. So, who's the guest this week? Well, that was a really nice little intro up until the point that a plane started flying overhead. I don't know if you can hear that, but I certainly can. So I'm just going to pause just for a moment, mention the fact that you can follow Spin the Wheel on Twitter, and you can check it out on YouTube. And then there's all the audio stuff on Spotify and iTunes as well. So you can track it down there or pass it on to various people and let them know about the kind of natters we've had with people so far. We've had people from the world of music, from sport, from comedy, from entertainment. And yeah, I've been having lots of fun doing these. So hopefully you've enjoyed listening to them and maybe watching them as well. The guest this week is the amazing Emma McGann. Now, I use the word amazing quite a lot when describing my guests. I've known Emma for a bunch of years, and Emma used to put on gigs when me and my band were gigging together back in Coventry about 10, 15 years ago, something along those lines. And so, yeah, I've known Emma for a long, long time. Haven't spoken to her for ages. But Emma was way ahead of the curve because she's been doing this streaming stuff for years. She's a pop star who does stuff on YouTube and YouNow and loads of streaming bits and pieces. And that's where her audience mainly lives. So, hello. Let's see exactly where the wheel takes us this week, shall we? Are we ready? Let's spin the wheel. Hi there. Welcome to Spin the Wheel, Miss Emma McGann. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to see your face after too long, too long.
I was trying to work out how long it was. We've known each other knew each other a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
You used to book my band to come and play at your gigs in Coventry.
I know, right? It's like that, to think that period of time was like a decade ago is a little bit mind-boggling.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It makes me feel very, very old right now. But yeah, it was such a good moment of time as well. And we had the AFC, and yeah, I guess how many like gigs I saw you guys back then, like. We used to love you guys. It was so much fun to see you. So different as well. It was great.
We used to bump into each other all the time. Even at the shows that you weren't putting on, we'd still end up, no. Things have moved on a little bit since then. So whereabouts in the world are you now?
So I am in my hometown of Coventry. I'm back here. I moved back to Coventry about 5 years ago now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I used to live in Oxford for a short time, working over there, and then came back for family reasons. And I'm just we're set up here now.
Few other little things about you: full-time singer-songwriter.
Yes, correct.
Well, full-time singer-songwriter / streamer. A little bit way ahead of the curve. This is kind of the thing that lots of people are doing now, but you're kind of like, yeah, old hat. Been doing this for a little while.
Yeah, it's been a weird shift of seeing so many people like jump into the space, but it's been a good opportunity to kind of mentor people in that respect as well, because like a lot of artists aren't used to that kind of format, and you know, like a lot of artists don't want to sit in front of a camera, which I totally get, but so it's been a good opportunity to kind of sit down and help them kind of transition from stage to kind of in an isolated room in front of a lens. Like, that's totally normal, right?
You're streaming still on YouNow and doing all the stuff you have been doing for the last however many years?
Yeah, so I've been a full-time live streamer really for 7-8 years now.
Wow.
And yeah, it's been a long time. And so I've been on a platform called YouNow, which I started out on. I also now stream on Twitch as well, and do the occasional live streaming at the places too. But those are my two main platforms. And my format is like music. So it's a very kind of casual atmosphere where I sit with my guitar and I sing the songs I want to sing, and then sing the songs other people want me to sing. Yeah. I'm kind of like an internet jukebox. Nice. It's been really fun to kind of play around with a format in terms of like a music career that can be sustainable for me. And I'm just surprised that it is that, and it has kind of spiraled into this this career. So yeah, it's really fun. I get to like meet and hang with cool people every single day, and I get to play music every day.
A couple of other things about you. Dog lover.
Yeah, my pug Roxy. She's outside the door right now, just like giving me the eye.
Yeah. And the other thing that I know you for, particularly, is as being a lover of Pokemon.
Correct.
Now I have a strong recollection. I think my son was about 8 years old. We listened to a show that you and your other half and a few other guys did about Pokemon.
Yes.
From a radio station somewhere in Coventry, somewhere along those lines, maybe.
It was in Oxford. Yeah,
that was
Oxford. When I went there. Yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah, the Pokemania show.
That was the one. Yeah. Yeah. Just so you know, my son is now in sixth form. And he's doing his A-levels. Right, so many other things I could possibly talk to you about, but it's most important that we get the wheel involved. I've got my random questions, and we'll give it a few spins and see exactly where the wheel wants to take us. Emma McGann, Are you ready?
I'm so ready. Let's do this.
Early doors, we're going quite deep, quite early. It says, what do you consider your biggest success or triumph?
Oh, wow. I think in terms of like the music side of things, I released an album in 2017, so like 4 years ago now, and it was kind of like a collaboration between me and the fans where they kind of helped make it happen. They were my label, and they had input. They kind of sent across stem files to like be on the songs and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And so far, like as far as like creative musical projects go, that has been my most like loved one in terms of the one I love the most, and I think it's the one the fans love the most as well. So I think that's probably
was that the Brave album?
That's the Brave album, yeah.
Nice. If you can get people involved in the stuff that you're doing, it's kind of, it not only means a lot to you because you're getting people involved rather than just you being on your own, but it also means so much more to them as well because they're all part of it. And
yeah, they can kind of like listen to that album if they still have a CD player in like 10 years time and be like, I was there when she recorded that vocal, or oh, my voice is on this track or something like that. So that's a very special thing.
So how did you come up with that concept then? How did you come up with the idea?
So I wrote a song called Brave a couple of years before writing the album and finishing it up. I actually wrote it as a Eurovision.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I thought I'd kind of give it a go. And then around that kind of time, we were moving house and we were moving our studio and stuff. And I never got around to kind of submitting the song. So I had this song sat on the shelf and theme it kind of chant-worthy song. And I started playing it on my live streams and the audience just resonated with it. And so I kind of found myself like building around that concept of bravery and stuff like that. And it turned into an acronym, and there was lots of different mottos that kind of fell into place around it. So it was a whole thing, but even that feels like such a long time ago at this point.
So that being your biggest success, what about outside of music?
Outside of music, that's really difficult. I think outside of music, just finding a good work-life balance. Previous to like me doing live streaming and stuff like that, I don't think I ever had like a good work-life balance in terms of like, I never knew when to like switch off. So like knowing my limits and like knowing when it's like time for me time, and kind of diving into other hobbies, like, and, you know, just giving yourself that kind of peace of mind and stuff. I mean, I pride myself on that for sure. And family time and pug time is always a good thing as well. So
always a good thing.
Always.
I went big. See where we're going. What's your favourite roast?
Oh, God.
There you go.
Okay. When I think about roast, RuPaul's Drag Race has made me appreciate a good roast. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that I have to roast people on a daily basis or at any point I've ever had to roast people other than trolls in like the chat when I'm live streaming. But RuPaul's Drag Race has made me appreciate a good roast. They have a section in the show which they call the library, and everybody just goes off on each other, and it's really, really fun. I read a great roast the other day, and it made me think of a current thing that's recently happened with a girl online with Gorilla Glue and her hair. I don't know if you've read about this or so. Her story is that I think she thought Gorilla Glue was shampoo, and she put it on her hair, and her hair just kind of just stuck. And I saw this roast the other day, and it made me think about it. It's people like you that make this country have to put directions on shampoo. That's my favorite roast.
I mean, fair shout. I'll be honest. When this question was written, and when I've asked it to most people, we've gone chicken or pork. It tends to have gone down that route. But I'm loving the interpretation. That's not where my brain goes. Maybe that's something about me. I don't know.
Maybe that's a bit about me. Maybe I need to take a step back and assess my attitude. It is.
Get off the socials. Forget about that. And just work out what you're going to put with your potatoes. Well, that went in an unexpected turn. Did not expect that direction. Let's go back to your interpretation then, before we get to the next one. Is there ever been something that someone has come at to you with in terms of like a particular criticism or comment or just sarky remark that's made you just laugh out loud and just thought, yeah, all right, I love that?
I think like when I first, about 5 years ago, when I first had my hair done like this, like the immediate remarks are, I get toothpaste, I get slush puppy, I get all these kind of things. You hear them for the first time and you're like, that's good. And then you hear it again, you're like, oh, come on. So the hair roasts for me are the highest frequency of roasts that I get. And we've had some good ones. The toothpaste was a good one. And the slush puppy is the most I really get. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Why did the red and blue hair thing happen in the first place? What brought it about?
So mostly my indecisiveness. I went to the hairdresser one day and I said, I want a different kind of colour, but I don't know what I want. And I said, I'm not ruling out split dye, but I don't know what kind of colours. And then we kind of worked it out then and there in the chair. And I said, okay, let's do red and blue. And then we were in the car on the way home. James was just like, you realise like today, it was like a voting day.
Okay.
So, James was like, are you sure you want to post to socials? People might think this is a political thing. And I was like, oh my God, it's not a political thing. It's not a political thing.
That's amazing.
A little bit spur of the moment. There was with the Brave album, when we shot the kind of front cover for that, he had these jowls on the lights and it made me look like I had split hair. So back then I was like, oh, I want to kind of do that look. Cool. But it wasn't until we got to the hairdressers where I was like, red and blue, yeah, let's just do that.
Wow. To me, it reminds me of a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I get that a lot too.
Yeah, I can well imagine. Right, moving on. This is number 20 on the wheel. It says, tell me about one specific highlight that sticks in your memory from your childhood.
Oh, wow.
I'm
going to go on the lines of a positive memory.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah. I remember being sat at a craft fair with my grandma. It was like, they called them like bazaars, like Christmas bazaars and stuff. Mm-hmm. And my grandma used to make just everything at our local school and church. And I remember being sat at the craft fair, like selling all of these bits and pieces that she made. She made like little sculptures. She made like little sewing pieces. She made little dolls and everything. And I remember, speaking of being roasted, I remember my friends kind of coming around and like, and no other kids were on any of the other stalls. And I remember them like coming over being like, why are you here? Like, what's going on? But I just remember being so proud because it was my grandma and she made all this cool stuff. And that's a memory that just kind of popped into my head.
So the creative genes in your family, they go back quite a way, or?
I guess so, yeah. My grandma was like always really just like a creative genius. She was always working with her hands, always sewing, always doing something. She used to make these amazing profiteroles and they were like pastries with like chocolate on, and oh my God, she was great. Actually, she kind of left me all these synthetic flowers and plant pieces that she used to use for like creative projects, and so a lot of that is kind of incorporated into my live streaming background.
The set design.
Yeah, the set design. So a lot of the kind of the, I guess, botanical things that you see in that's very much inspired by some of the stuff that she left me. So yeah,
that's brilliant. I really love that. I rate that highly. I'm a big fan of giving little nods to various people. Within my shows, there tends to be there's always, there she is. I knew she'd be around somewhere. That's a photo that we mentioned my old band, the Austin Francis Connection.
Right.
And so for some reason, and I don't know why, I decided that at every gig we played, that picture was going to be on stage. And it's a photo that's taken of Mark's nan with a cup of tea.
Brilliant. I love that.
Still there with me now. So I don't know if you're the same, but I kind of like having things that I know about, and if other people find out about them, that's okay. That's not a problem. Yeah. But it's kind of just for me, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know whether it's just me.
Yeah, I totally get it. It's like a sentimental thing for you, right? I have an old acoustic guitar, a Taylor guitar with my grandma's name on it, and an old friend of mine, Steph, who's a tattoo artist, she kind of drew with Sharpie pen. She drew like this beautiful, like floral portrait of my grandma's name. And it's really nice when like people on like the live streams, for example, ask about it. I'm like, oh, it's my grandma's name. Yeah. It's a little sentiment to me, but people are just like, what is that? What does that say? So they lovingly call that guitar June now. And it's just such a special little thing.
Yeah, it's great when you can have that little connection. Whether other people know about it or not doesn't really matter some of the time, is it?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, right. We're on to number 4. No, not that one. We're going to go to... This is the fix, by the way. This is the one that I decided... You can't rely on the wheel to give you... Otherwise, you're going to get deeper meaningfuls all the time, possibly. Tell me about your first car.
You might have to pick another question because I don't drive.
No.
Yeah, I've never drove. Like,
have you not?
I don't drive. No.
Okay. Has it never been something you've thought about or wanted to, or? Not
really. It kind of stems from a fear, but also me being a very just clumsy person and just not having enough trust in myself, really.
Really?
Yeah, I've never really gone down the kind of driving route.
I take it then by that default setup then that James drives.
He does. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
He wears a lot of hats, and chauffeur, unfortunately, is one of them. He's fine with me not driving as well. He's just like, yeah, that's okay. I'll drive you anywhere. That's okay. He knows how clumsy and awful I can be.
What are your memories about being in the car from when you were a kid? Because I don't know about you, but I can certainly remember old cars that my parents had,
right?
And the way in which we used to travel around. It was a little bit different back then. I'm a little bit older than you, so before people had like sensible rules and stuff.
My family were a little bit weird. Like I have a big family. Not many of us drive. It's a bit weird. Like so. When I was a kid, definitely none of us really drove. I remember being in a friend's parents' car and us almost having a moment of like a collision. And maybe that's something that's like caused me to be like, yeah, I'm good. Like I'll use my 2 feet. I'm fine. But yeah, like thinking back actually, like I've never really thought about it before, but a lot of my family back then, we just all used to take the bus and walk places, like it was a bit weird. So
it's also if you're a family that's very much located in one kind of area or one kind of place, if you know the fact of, well, I can get that bus to get to my nan's house, then why there's really no need to, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, like the only time I ever really have to travel for like work reasons when we're not in a pandemic is to London. So I just like hop on the train. So I guess maybe that's also a big factor in terms of like my job doesn't require me to drive around, I guess. So yeah, maybe if it would be different, I guess, if my job was another thing.
It's a weird one. Cars and transport, it's strange. I guess it does depend on your circumstances. I never really thought about it.
We're not really, James isn't necessarily the kind of person that's like passionate about like what kind of car he has or anything like that either. So like if we have something that gets us from A to B, we're happy. If we can get to the dog park, we're fine. Like So
as long as Roxy's happy, then we're all okay.
As long as she's happy, it's all good. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We'll let the wheel go this time. See what happens. It's weird. Some of the same questions keep cropping up time after time I do this. Sorry, I got to read it upside down. It's a bit of a long one. Who was the most famous or relatively famous person that you met as a kid?
the only person I can think of, and it's kind of a funny place to bump into him as well. Disneyland Paris, not a Disney character, but
Okay,
Jonathan Ross.
Oh, wow.
Jonathan Ross was just there with his family. And I remember recognizing him and pointing him out to my mum and my stepdad and being like, that's Jonathan Ross. But I would have been like 10 years old. So like, I guess that says a lot about what I was doing on my Saturday nights at 10 years old.
He'd have been famous then.
I guess so. And so like, I just remember being mesmerized that there was this guy that was like on the TV and like, forget Winnie the Pooh and Aladdin. Like, look, it's Jonathan. Like, so I mean, we didn't have an interaction with him, but I remember seeing him and like, oh my God, look, he's just sat there enjoying the parade. This is very surreal.
Yeah, really weird. I don't tend to get starstruck around people very often, but I do have recollections of meeting people at various different stages. And it's, don't you find it's really, really weird, the people that you would be starstruck over compared with others? I know that being next to Bill Bailey in a line at a cafeteria and then just chatting to that was a massive moment for me.
See, that's the kind of moment that's really cool though, like like an everyday moment, like in a cafeteria line, instead of running up to somebody who you really don't know and like demanding a photo. That is an everyday moment, and having that little chit chat, that's what you want to experience if it's a person who you idolize, for sure.
Okay, let's go to a little bit later on in life. Who's the kind of celebrity that's kind of meant the most to you in terms of meeting or bumping into or having a chat with or whatever?
I had the pleasure of meeting Beth Hart about 4 or 5 years ago. She's a blues singer, and she's fantastic. And the opportunity came through You Now, and I was teaching her how to live stream. And she invited us down to a show in Brighton. And out of the blue, like we kind of did a live stream before the show, and then during the show, she called out my name, and she was just like, "You're a singer." I go like, "Come and get up on stage." And I was like, "This is really happening." Wait, what was happening? And so I sang a couple of songs with Beth Hart, and that was a very special moment. But and one that kind of sticks in my mind as like one of the coolest things for me to kind of look back on. But that was cool.
In prep for this, I was doing it because it's been a little while since I've listened through all of your songs. So I was listening to some of the songs, and in the background, my wife, she turned around and said, "She's kind of got a vocal that sounds a little bit like Kylie." You've met them in Oak at one stage. Yes. Yeah. She's lovely. She's such a down to earth, just an ordinary person. She's so tiny. She's so petite as well. The day we met her, I met her with the whole band, and she's Welsh as well. And my drummer at the time, he's Welsh, and they were just stood there speaking Welsh. And I was like, this is very surreal. Like, this is wonderful. But yeah, she's lovely. Really, really sweet. Yeah. Just the sweetest person. Yeah. Didn't know Kylie knew Welsh.
Apparently she's part Welsh.
Is she?
Yeah. Who knew?
Who from your past would you most like to be able to see where you are now?
Ooh. I feel like this is a question where it would, for most people, it would be like the people who didn't treat you so good. You know?
Sometimes, sometimes.
Yeah. In that kind of arena of things, I wouldn't even know their names at this point, but yeah,
not even if you tried to think really hard.
You know what? I wish I would so call them out. I'd so roast them. So I got like beat up really badly by these girls when I was a kid, and it was kind of like I would have been maybe like 11 years old, something like that. And they were making fun of me because they had a bigger house than me, and like my family were poorer than them and stuff like that. So I would love to see whoever they were. Yeah. I would love for them to, I guess, see where I'm at now. But also, like, part of me is like, they probably wouldn't care either. You know what I mean?
If I think back and I think Craig Hunter, I wish you could see where. No, he doesn't care. I don't know where he is or what he's doing. No. Yeah. That's really interesting when you think about the people that have had an effect on your life and the way in which you might perceive them. And and you know the fact that they've gone on and not thought about you in the slight. They've gone on with their lives and done whatever they're doing, and yet we still have these, whether they be names that you remember or certain things that occurred. It's strange that we kind of cling on to those almost, whereas actually they don't really mean that much, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess like for people nowadays as well, like our generation, like keep in touch with each other because we have social media. But like, I guess 20 years ago, like people wouldn't necessarily like be in touch with the people that bash them around in the playground, and they might bump into them by chance on the bus or something like one day. But we have that, you know, I don't know about you. I've had like occasionally that friend request of the person that you just, you know, maybe they thought they connected with you on some level, but you're like, I don't remember this happening. No, bye. But Facebook is a weird one for me. I keep it because of the music side of things, but also just to keep in touch with friends. Occasionally somebody will creep out the woodwork and be like, hey, remember me? Like, we did that one thing. I'm like, no.
I use Facebook in a similar way. I don't really post much stuff from me on there. I do a little bit, but not much. But it tends to be mostly about the music and the comedy and stuff. Although my mum has gone onto Facebook within the last couple of years, so that's been entertaining. So now I've got aunties on there and uncles on there and stuff, and it's like, okay, I guess this is happening now.
Like same for me, like with people who, like, I have family in Australia and in different parts of the world and stuff, and we wouldn't kind of see each other otherwise. But there's a great subreddit thread online of old people using Facebook, and it's just a beautiful amalgamation of all the mishaps and funny things that people have said. And it reminds me of someone in my family. It's the sweetest thing. It's really sweet. She always thanks other people in our family when we share something to Facebook as a Facebook post, because I think she thinks that our Facebook post is being directly shared with her and her alone. She's like, thank you for this. Thank you for sharing this meme I probably most possibly don't understand. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I like the sound of that. I might have to dig that one out. I think I might have to find that. So we've got to the end. How was spinning the wheel for you?
It was a beautiful experience. I would love to do it again. It was a roller coaster.
Never quite sure what the wheel's going to throw at you. That's the thing. Yeah. Right. So now that that's out of the way, just very quickly then, have you got anything to plug or promote? So
throughout the rest of this year, I'm doing monthly shows over on my website, emmamcgann.com. So they're like concerts that you can enjoy from the comfort of your home.
Cool.
I perform them from my Neon Jungle studio that I have here, and they go live on my website at the end of every month. Head over to emmamcgann.com, grab a virtual tour pass, and come along to the show. It'll be great to have you.
You see, it's so nice to have a consummate professional who knows exactly what she wants to plug and knows exactly all the details to put in there. Saves me a job trying to find them. We'll stick all the links and bits and pieces on the YouTube. And obviously, if you're listening, check them out as well. You don't get any of this dodgy microphone quality or slightly ropey angles or anything else. Everything is done because of the fact you've been doing this for a long while. You've already experimented for years and years in how to get the right bits and pieces. So it's always great in terms of a listen or a watch to check out you and your songs. I really like the new stuff. I like the stuff you're putting out that will be for albums in the future and stuff. So it's been really nice to have a listen and have a catch up as well. Emma McGann, thank you so much for spinning the wheel. I'll see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. And that was the Spin the Wheel podcast, episode number 6. There we go. It's in the bag. It's done. It's out of the way now. I say out of the way. I quite enjoyed it. Having a lovely catch up with Emma. Like I said, I haven't spoken to Emma for a very, very long time, but it was really, really nice just to be able to reminisce and catch up over old times, as well as find out some of her answers to those random spins. I told you just don't know where the wheel's going to go. It's just got a little bit mind of its own, and sometimes it keeps trying to spin round to the same one, and you have to edit them out of the way. Anyway, if you enjoyed the Spin the Wheel podcast, then please pass it on. Like I said, I'm on Twitter now, @SpinTheWheelPod. And also you can obviously find us on iTunes, Spotify, all the rest of that stuff. Click, like, subscribe, rate, 5 stars preferably. That would be nice. And more importantly, tell people about it and pass it on to friends who you think might like it as well. I'll be back next Friday for another podcast. So I will see you then. Take it easy now. Look after yourself. Ta-ra.